today we have a very exciting workshop with our second actually workshop with Indrani. Seth, thank you Indrani for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
So today I will give you a little overview of what we are going to be doing. First, Indrani will give us a little background about what she does and her practices, and then we will go into a very interactive Q&A, asking what is forgiveness, why do we need to practice it, what are the things that may cause a block if we don't practice the how to forgive people or forgive even situations we have gone through. So, part of the self development program that we have created for color psychology, I always say that it's not only the step of color therapy, but there are also other supporting practices that we do. And our last workshop was about opening your heart chakra to receiving. That was your beginning. Now we're talking about forgiveness, and we'll be going so forth with different other steps that we take to a better life. So, Indrani, please, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Fatma. Thank you so much for having me. And it would be great before we get into this journey that we want to go and explore in the world of forgiveness. Would love to see everyone, if that's possible. Sakshi, Malak, Doha. It'd be great if you could just put your cameras on for a wee bit. I'd love to see the faces. Hello? Is everybody there?
Don't be shy. We're all
Hello.
Hi, Doha. See, that's good. I like to see faces.
hi, Daha.
Hi. How are you?
Good, good.
Um, so just okay, Malak's asking for a minute. Okay, so just to give you an understanding, my journey started way back in the early '90s when I actually got into the world of Reiki, and from then on, I kept delving deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. It got me into the world of hypnotherapy. Then I trained not just as a therapist, but I used to also teach clinical hypnotherapy. And I went on to study life between lives hypnotherapy. So I'm primarily a regression therapist. And along with that, I studied spiritual hypnosis, theta healing. Of course, Reiki has always been a part of my work. I delve into the world of crystals. And I think ultimately what my work tells me is I'm essentially trying, and I use the word trying because that's what I am. I'm trying to be a conduit, a channel for you to reach wherever you want to reach, because the journey that every soul takes on is very individual. And all that I do or I strive to do is to just help you go on your path. And I see myself at that channel or that conduit, or even sometimes the catalyst that helps an individual to reach from point A to point B. And Dubai has been my home since 2006. I call it home because I literally look at it as a fresh beginning in my life, and the journey that I've been on. Very blessed. I feel very blessed, very pampered here. And I'm so happy that I have this lovely equation, I would say, relationship with Fatma, where we are continuing to learn and strive to share more and more, because ultimately it's the collective consciousness of humanity that we're all trying to contribute and grow with each other. So today is that journey where we will be discussing, and I would like to share as much as I can on the power of forgiveness.
Thank
So
you.
I'd love to hear everyone, if you can even just say a couple of lines of what brings you to this session, it would feel so good.
Yes, please share with us what interests you in this workshop. And if you're shy to speak, you can write it in the chat and I can say it and we can discuss about it. So tell us what brought you to sign up for this workshop, and what do you think about forgiveness?
Are you asking someone specifically or anyone can
So
pitch in?
anyone
Even
can
Doha
answer.
can.
Yeah, whoever's ready to.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, in this session, I'm really looking forward to the meditation, to learning more from yourselves. And Fatima had told me a lot about you, so I'm really looking forward. The reason why I came or joined this session is obviously we're all on this journey of self-betterment and trying to understand ourselves and move and evolve forward, and obviously hurt and inner child syndrome and things start to come up as you're trying to peel off all these layers, and we don't know how to deal. And sometimes forgiveness is a part where we get stuck because you need to take ownership, but then how do you take ownership for something where you feel, okay, I'm haven't forgiven this person or this thing that happened to me. So I think that's where I want to enlighten myself with more.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Doha.
Hi, Indrani.
Hi,
Hi,
Sakshi.
Doha. Hi, Fatima. Sorry, I had it took me a second to start my video, but it's lovely to be here. And I think I just add to what Doha just said, that it is sort of self-awareness and self-awakening, and I think forgiveness is a part of that, is a huge part of that. And it'll be nice to know a different and in-depth point of view in it.
Great, thank
So
you.
it's gonna be nice.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sakshi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthews, would you like to share something as to what you're seeking actually from this? Hi, good to have you back. Is there anything that you're specifically searching for from in the power of forgiveness?
Well, like everybody else, I have my experiences, but what I learned is when you forgive, it benefits you more than the other person. I don't like to relate to any particular experience because it's very personal, but I learned that to forgive is something that's really good, and after a while you will resolve it and you feel good, and you can move on. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's so necessary, and it's kind of paving the way forward for what we're about to experience in the next hour. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much, Matthew. So great. So now, Indrani, are you ready for our questions?
Yes.
Okay. So, of course, the first question we have is, what is forgiveness?
Okay. So I'm going to make this as simple as I see it, because sometimes what we tend to do is we complicate things because we add layers of thoughts and feelings and emotions into any experience. So forgiveness, if I were to look at it, is the ability to let go and let flow. And to delve a little deeper into it, for any element of forgiveness to happen, or what is forgiveness, is it's essentially you choosing to disassociate, disentangle, and detach from a situation, a circumstance, an emotion, or a person, or an organization, or a thing that you feel a certain heavy, toxic, or negative vibration or energy from.
Great. And that's a very interesting point. What you taught me, actually, which I realize is necessarily forgiveness doesn't have to come with confronting a person or, getting out of a situation. It is your acceptance of that and moving forward.
Yeah.
Which is what honestly was a great impact when it came to practicing forgiveness. Great.
True.
Now, our second question is, why do we need to forgive? Why is it so important?
So I'm going to go from it from a very therapeutic perspective. as a therapist, I see each of us having four bodies. We have a thought body, we have an emotional body, we have an energy body, and we have a physical body. Now, what happens with any toxic emotion or thought pattern? And why I say pattern is, first you have a thought. Now, if you keep delving on that thought, it can become a bit recursive and it can become like a pattern. Now, the moment that thought is born, it has a corresponding an emotion that gets to kind of come on board along with that thought. So now you're adding a little weight. Now, along with that emotion, it starts to create a certain energy. That's why there's density or heaviness that comes with any kind of negative or toxic emotion. And slowly and gradually, your body, your physical body, starts to get impacted by it. And
Very.
it's unbelievable the number of organs and systems that you can actually mess up over time if you keep suppressing and planting into the cells of the body negative, undealt with, suppressed emotions. Because if you're not taking it out or letting it go or even accepting, acknowledging, and dealing with it, it has to go somewhere. So it goes and sits and it feeds in the body. It literally grows roots, and that is where you create cellular memory. So, why, if I were to ask, why is it necessary? If if I were to put it very simply, because I want to feel lighter. I don't want to suffer. Matthew said that when he was talking in the introductory bit, and it's so true. We do it for us, and which I have shared with you earlier. You do it sometimes without the other person's involvement. And that is a very liberating experience when you can forgive without the other person's involvement.
That's the word,
I,
liberating.
yeah. I have actually one sub question. So you mentioned that when we carry this heavy thought, it grows or roots itself in a part of our body. So, is there, I would say, a specific area in the body that not forgiving is concentrated, or is there? I mean, I know that sometimes with naturopath, they have said that certain diseases are due to resentment or not being able to forgive. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, thank you for asking that, Fatma. It's so, so true. So, one of the classical things that I have seen, and this is based on the kind of clients I work with. So, I work with the body and the mind. So, there's a lot of cell regeneration or organ regeneration work that I do. And why I kind of thrust on forgiveness so much is because I've seen lungs get impacted, heart gets impacted, pancreas gets impacted, kidney gets impacted, stomach gets impacted. Do you want me to carry on?
So it's basically your entire body.
You know why? Because every part of you can pick up that emotion, because forgiveness is very broad spectrum.
Mm,
So you have a forgiveness attached to a situation where somebody said something or didn't say something,
mm,
did something, didn't do something, intended something, didn't intend something. So there are many layers of people's thought, action, words.
interesting.
So how I perceive it, how I hold it, how much I hold it, what was my mind space at the time I absorbed that emotion, all of that plays a role. Which is why when one is grieving, one's immunity goes down. And it is so easy for any kind of heavy energy, heavy emotions to impact the body. So
Right.
when somebody comes and starts speaking about an emotion to us, because they say, oh, she's an emotional or a mental wellness therapist, I'll immediately ask them about body syndromes. And they're like, how do you know? And I'm like, Dada, of course I will know, because every part of your body is linked to an emotion.
Yeah.
And if it is an emotion, if it's a happy emotion, you're not coming to me. So obviously we're dealing with a negative or a heavy or a toxic emotion.
Mhm.
And that emotion, when it goes and parks itself in your body, it's just a matter of time when from one cell to another till the organ gets compromised.
Right.
And the beauty of forgiveness is if you can practice it really very, very properly, you can cure yourself, heal yourself of certain physical issues.
That is very true because I'm a living proof on that. There are many health situations that I had by practicing the forgiveness with Indrani. Right now, honestly, I'm in the best health I've ever been. And
Good.
thank you. And it's interesting, you were saying that how it brings down the immunity. And it is something that I feel that is why I wanted to do this right now, because I feel a lot of people have a lot of resentment. Maybe, as we said, sometimes it's not things in your control, it's what's happening in your environment. But yes, people are resenting that we went through this pandemic. People lost their jobs, their homes, even certain relationships. Like
Yes,
you saw
yes.
that, you actually saw who really cared about you, if they were being socially responsible about you or not. And there's resentment there that you expected this person to be careful around you, but they really didn't care. So I agree with you that it does come with a lot of heavy energy that definitely is unnecessary, that we should carry on with. So this takes us to the next question: is what do I get from practicing forgiveness?
So, one of the, I think the biggest benefit is you actually help your body. It's a lot like offloading a lot of unnecessary weight that you put on the body. So, when you forgive, you lighten the space, you lighten your heart space, and you create space for your own potential energy to come through. Because remember something, when I don't forgive, what am I doing? I'm either staying angry, or I'm resenting, or I'm being sad, or I'm being angry that comes out of sadness. So there's a lot of these very, very toxic, intricately entangled energy that keeps juicing you out. So imagine if you were to unplug all of that, what would happen? Ah, you'll
Yeah.
feel happy, you feel lighter. So when you feel lighter, the energy in the body shifts. All your happy hormones start to kick in. So your immunity goes up. You start feeling better. When you start feeling better, you look better. I have seen people lose weight after doing forgiveness. I have seen endometriosis getting better. I've seen people's lungs getting better, people's gastroesophageal reflux disorder getting better. So many, I could spend hours just discussing one organ after another and telling you how much forgiveness can impact and help you. And which is why the word power comes in.
And that's very interesting. This is our next question. But before I ask you that question, this is a question for the audience, and you can actually put your answer in the chat. Do you think power and forgiveness is linked together? So either yes or no, just write in the chat. Let's see how many people agree or disagree.
I'd like to see it too.
Can I just understand like power from which sense exactly? Like how to link power and forgiveness? I didn't really get it.
Indrani,
Okay.
please explain. Yeah.
Malak, I'm not too sure. Were you there from the start of when we started the Q&A?
No, actually, I left and I joined again.
I see. So you possibly missed that little bit. And what I would like to again endorse it is when you forgive, you actually reclaim back something for yourself. I mean, then I will get into actually explaining what power is. are power and forgiveness interlinked? Yes, that's Avani's question. So the question itself is for you a yes or a no. If I get to explain to Malak, then I would kind of give the
Give that.
answer. So Malak can hang on for a moment.
Okay.
Let's
All
see
right.
what the others say, and then I'll definitely share my thoughts.
Okay. So yes,
Mhm.
one person thinks yes. So all right. Matthew, Laha, what do you guys think? Yes.
Is Doha there? I'm not too sure.
Okay. All right. Well, generally, we can see that people are agreeing, and I do agree that definitely you succeeding, being more positive, for sure, gives you
Yes,
power.
Doha,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely, yes. And Baha agrees too, but I do agree, yes, it is difficult. It's a very difficult practice. So here, the question for you, Andrani, is why power is linked to forgiveness.
Thank you for waiting, Malak, and thank you, Fatma, for
Yeah,
just giving the question as is.
yeah.
So let's understand something. What do I mean by power? Power is a sense of strength, a strength of awareness, a strength, I would say, a sense of objectivity, and the ability to have more like an overview of any situation. So when we have an overview, we tend to be in a position of power. You'll notice one thing: you can't be subjective and be powerful. In any given situation where you are being, say, threatened or tested, or feeling certain emotions, the moment you take yourself out of it and take on an observer's role, a sense of objectivity comes in. You kind of get power back. Forgiveness actually enables you to disassociate. So, say, for example, someone has hurt you. So, as long as you hold the hurt, whether that individual is there in your life or not, physically or otherwise, that individual hooks with you because of the hurt. That emotion hooks the individual with you. So, many times I have heard this term very often used amongst people, and I say don't use it loosely. I did a cord cutting. Okay. Yeah, but that's the problem still there. Okay. You've done a cord cutting. Great. What have you done a cord cutting with? Because if the emotion or the feeling the person created in you is still sitting in you somewhere, and that's the hook. And you may go through recursive situations and even create patterns down the line, which we do see with people. It can happen with the same person, it can happen with other people. So, when I want power, or when I want to be in a position of feeling empowered or powerful, a very important aspect of that is to have a certain degree of neutrality. And that neutrality I'm talking about isn't about you being a monk sitting on some high mountain cut off from humanity. No, it's in your daily life when you are functioning with awareness. And when you do it, this is something linked to what Matthews mentioned right in the beginning. You do it for yourself. And why do you do it? Because you wish to stay in that space of power. And the power is the power to be at ease, the power to free flow, the power to move forward, the power to move on, not to remain hooked, not to remain entangled, attached, or associated. So when you go through forgiveness, when you allow yourself to forgive, you tell that part of yourself, I'm doing it for me. To use a term that Doha brought in right in the beginning, Doha used the term inner child. Am I right, Doha? Did I remember correctly? I think she did. So, when you're using a term inner child, who is an inner child? An inner child is a fragmented part of your own energy that fragmented when you went through something which you found traumatizing, hurtful, or difficult. Thanks. So, yes, Malak, you can say something, of course.
Okay, so basically, I have noticed that some people were very close to me, all right, and they basically hurted me in a way that it's just very hard to forget what they actually did to me. And even though I'm that type of person who doesn't like to keep anything in, or like I'm not a bad person to feel like to not forgive, all right, I would love to forgive people, but I noticed that there's this anger inside of me whenever I remember everything they did to me, even though I don't want to remember, but the thought just haunts your brain so badly that even though you're trying to run from it, but every time you're not distracted, it still comes and haunts you. And I just don't know how I can really just get, like take them out of my head. It's just so hard.
Malak, thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you. This is a very important thing you've just raised. However much I want to forgive, I intellectually understand I need to forgive. I know the benefits of forgiveness. I know it's very powerful. It'll make me very powerful, but still I can't do it because it haunts me. So, this voice in the head is the inner child. And why I'm using the term inner child is what we are going to experience is talking to the inner child today. Because either, see, there are aspects of forgiveness. Either you want forgiveness or you need to forgive someone. There's a giver and a receiver, right? Ideal situation, you have both present. In the ideal world, that's great. However, our real world is not so ideal. And therefore, many a times we are caught in a roundabout which we aren't being able to get out of. Why? Because I haven't been able to go through the space of forgiveness. We don't forget a situation. If I have been through something, maybe in my 20s, I'm in my 50s today, I can give you a very clear, full picture of what had happened. And you will say, wow, you still remember? Is it festering inside you? No, it's not. I remember the situation because it has now become a source of learning. So today, after so many years, if I can sit with a group of people who I haven't met before, I don't know all of you, and I can share something probably very intimate with you, but from a purpose of learning, that means I have been able to remove the energy charge attached to it, which means I'll talk about a betrayal, I'll talk about a hurt, I'll talk about a trauma, and it is for the purpose of you probably learning something out of it. So it's great learning. I haven't given you some story, I'm going to give you a personal experience, but I don't have any energy attached to it. So, yes, Malak, if you're feeling something which is very hurtful, and even though you're wanting to understand and move beyond it and it still hits you, the part of you that's feeling hit or hurt or unheard or dishonored is that inner child. And the anger comes from hurt. And that inner child is who the adult you needs to talk to. So, a lot of times, forgiveness may include two elements: the person who you feel hurt by, and that you who is seeking that forgiveness. So, there is an adult you of the here and now who's in this webinar. There is that part of you who wants the forgiveness or needs to forgive or needs the forgiveness, and that other person or organization or situation which is requiring this disentanglement from. Fatma, you brought up the word COVID, the pandemic. In my career as a therapist, the maximum number of youth I have worked with has been in 2020 and 2021 because they feel they were robbed of this and robbed of that. A lot of them have transitioned from school to university completely in this very virtual world. So there is a lot of suppression of their expectation, their dreams, There are children who couldn't get internships. There are people who've gone to uni, got stuck. We've done counseling for a lot of kids who were scared to step out of their dorm room, who just existed on takeaways because they couldn't come home. And these are kids, very, very, children who've never lived beyond their own home. So suddenly you're having to grasp with a situation which was not easy. Also, counseling people who've lost loved ones and couldn't say goodbye. So there's a lot of that what if that keeps popping up, and there's a lot of grief along with it, a lot of anger, and you're directing it towards something which is not tangible. There's no form to it. There's no guy or girl you can like have a dialogue with. It's a pandemic, it's a virus, and it's still there. It hasn't gone away. We don't even know how many other faces it's going to show us. So acceptance was a word that has come in a little while earlier, which we were just touching upon. Acceptance plays a very, very big role if you're looking for closure. And closure plays a big part of forgiveness.
Very
So
true.
ask yourself, Malak, that I feel anger, I still feel that anger in me. Then all you need to do is day in, day out, talk to that part of yourself. Honor that part. Don't quieten it out. Don't say, no, I should, it's okay. I'm not, a lot of times we're not supposed to be angry, right? We're not supposed to feel resentment. These are heavy energies. We are conditioned into believing we shouldn't be this way and we shouldn't feel that. No, it's fine, feel it. But then we have to deal with it. And when you do that, that's the power I'm talking about, because you help yourself, you benefit yourself. Any questions? Any observations? Anyone has anything to ask? Share.
Yeah, can I ask you then, because I believe it's constant work to get there and stay there. I often get into the routine of, let's say, because we all understand this, we believe it. I'm sure viscerally we know it's the right thing, but it's almost like so hard to maintain in that state of mind because of the distraction. Because, like you said, either we're not strong enough or we constantly need to keep up with that. I don't know. So what would be your advice? Like, is that something that...
Thank you. Yeah. So though I would like to actually say it's a very, very, very pertinent point you brought up. It's not something you do and you're kind of done and dusted with it. It's not like, I've reached that point of enlightenment, now I'm going to stay there. Nothing's going to bother me or touch me. We wish. Yeah. So the thing here is, we will be tested every day. We will be tested every moment. There will always be these triggers that will come popping up when we are least expecting it. And we do go through that point that how could he say that? How could she do that? This is just not fair. We feel it. And sometimes we even have mini meltdowns. But I can speak for myself, that I have seen, if we can give ourselves a certain amount of time in the morning and a certain amount of time at night, and this is like, if I can't do it, it doesn't work for me. I got to do it. So I've made it like a habit, and I'm just sharing a personal habit. Whether you pray, whether you meditate, whether you journal, whatever works for you, you choose your way. But I need you to do a little dialogue with yourself every day. Now, usually when we pray, the belief is that I'm praying to some form of divinity. But when you pray, you're also talking to your own inner self. And that dialogue, when you, for just those maybe 10, 15 minutes, shut out the outside world and do a little dialogue with yourself, then that part of you which is hurt or angry or frustrated or irritated or whatever, it gets heard. And it needs to get heard. And in that inner dialogue, in that inner discussion, you start to realize that a lot of times some emotions that we hold within, it's just not worth it because that other person's probably oblivious of what you're going through. Do you really think COVID cares? We're so frustrated with it. Does it really care that, oh, we can't travel and I have to travel and I'm just going batshit crazy if I don't travel? It doesn't care. But if I tell myself, and I can share this in all honesty, because of the work I do, for me, travel into greenery, into forests used to be my cutoff time. That's my healing place, going into nature. I haven't done it for more than a year to 1.5 years now. But we find ways to do it. And I found this getting time to yourself, morning and evening, just sitting quietly in your inner space and allowing yourself to listen to your thoughts. You can just deep breathe at that time. You can have a candle and just focus and do meditation. If you want to go for a walk to the beach, so be it. I know people who go for long drives, listen to music. You find your way, as long as you honor that bit of you that needs to be heard. And a lot of times when you have that inner conversation, it helps you to be able to disengage, detach, and disassociate with this other individual who you're waiting for something from. So if you feel wronged, that's fine. That's your choice. But always remember, your universe is your universe, my universe is my universe. Your reality is your reality, my reality is my reality. And the moment we understand that, we can then play the next line, which is, you have an opinion, I have an opinion, then there'll always be another opinion. You have a point of view, I have a point of view, there'll always be another point of view. So when we play with these kind of lines again and again, we have started the practice of disassociating. So it isn't something you do one shot and you're done. You do it regularly till it becomes a habit with yourself. And if you can do it, you will notice your immunity is better, you sleep better, you feel better, you flow with life better. I was sharing with Fatima, we were quarantined for 2 weeks at home. We've just got over the quarantine this weekend. And it's an experience. You have to go through it. You have a COVID patient at home, he's 60 plus, you're on tenterhooks, you don't want things to go too bad. So what do? Morning and evening, just do a lot of healing time, self time. I used it for myself. So if you ask me how was the isolation, oh, it was awesome. I liked it. I got time out. I still work, but I use that time, and then therefore there's no anger or frustration or irritation towards the situation. I had a choice. I could have got very miffed with COVID, completely messing my calendar. And I had a choice of just saying, okay, it is what it is, and we have to just make the most of it. And believe me, if you do that, things start to shift.
Great. Thank you, Indrani, for that. So I think now we've kind of given a general overview and a good understanding of forgiveness. So now we will go into the meditation.
I'm going to describe it, Fatma, if I may. I'm sorry I just butted in. Yeah. I'm going to show you how to do it today in a way where, well, fingers crossed, and I hope you can all do this yourself after this. So I'll guide you through it in such a way that after this, ideally you should do it every day. I'll make it very easy.
Yes, and what we're going to do is, anyway, like our previous workshop, this will be recorded. So it's something that you can refer back, yes, and you can practice every day, as Indrani has said. Yes. And just a note, like from my personal experience, usually I do the forgiveness at the end of my day because it's quiet, nobody's disturbing me. I journal also at night, and it doesn't really take very long. It's just a few minutes and you're done with it. Also, your thoughts are clear by the end of the day when you're all alone, and you can even note it down. You can note down like a person you can't forgive, or a situation you can't forgive, or even sometimes you can't forgive yourself for putting yourself in a certain situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there are many levels, as we can see. So for the meditation, as always, we ask you have a glass of water next to you. And Indrani, would you like them to have their videos on or off during meditation?
Actually, I would love to see their faces when they meditate. And I'll simply tell you why. It's not because I'm going to get any thrill out of just staring at people's faces like that, but I can pick up the vibes.
Yes.
So if you're okay with it, you're comfortable with me being able to see all of you, great. If you're not too comfortable, then I honor that. You can always, but I need you to do it very relaxed.
Okay. All
So
right.
sit back, be comfortable.
Okay, so everybody ready to start? Just put okay in the chat and then we will start our meditation.
It's a very nice vibration in this space. Good. Feels
Okay.
good. All righty.
Okay.
Lovely.
Everybody is ready.
So what I'd like you to do is just sit back. Get yourself physically very comfortable. And then close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, take 3 deep, slow breaths. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And with each and every breath, just give yourself the permission to relax. Feel your breath flowing in and out. And with each and every breath, just give yourself the permission to center your consciousness in the here and now. Various thoughts may come into your mind space. Silently acknowledge them, observe them, and let them know that you will get back to them later. And all you do is just focus on your breath. Feel your breath flowing in and out. Just breathe into your body. I'd like you to visualize or imagine that you are in a very quiet, very private space in nature. You could be in a beach or the countryside or inside a forest or next to a lake. Just a very quiet, private space in nature. Visualize or imagine as you take a few steps, you can feel the grounding, nourishing, nurturing energy of Mother Nature under your feet. Acknowledge her. Thank her, for she is going to hold space for you in that very private, quiet, special place in nature that you call your own. And now, allow yourself to connect to your inner space. and ask that you who is seeking forgiveness, whether from yourself or someone else or something else or an organization or a situation, allow that you who is requiring or needing this forgiveness to just step out and face you in that space. Go with your first thoughts, first feelings, first impression, and make a mental note of what kind of an expression does this you have who is standing in front of you. Look very carefully. Feel the energy, feel the vibration. Does this you look angry or sad, frustrated, cheated, depressed, disrespected? What does this you feel? What kind of an expression do you see in that you's face, in the eyes? And as you look at that you, take a nice deep breath. It is as if you are breathing awareness into your body. And then, as you look at that you in front of you, say to this you, I see you. I acknowledge you. I am so sorry I took this long to speak with you. I see you. I acknowledge you. I am so sorry I took this long to speak with you. Repeat the third time. I see you. I acknowledge you. I am so sorry I took this long to speak with you. And then take another deep breath. Breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And now ask this you, who or what is it upset with? Listen carefully. And then, if it involves another person, ask this you, does he or she require you to speak with this person on behalf of that you? Visualize that person joining you, but standing a little away from you and that part of you that is requiring the forgiveness. If it is an organization, a thing, or a situation, then visualize or imagine the energy of that coming and just a little away from you, making its presence felt. You may see it in the form of a color, a symbol, a form, a shape. Acknowledge it. And then as you look at it, you may have something to say to it. And in this space in nature, there is no judgment. There is no right or wrong. You are standing up. You are standing next to that part of you, and you're speaking on its behalf. And as you share, speak, whatever it is that you wish to share with that person, that thing, that situation, you may visualize or imagine in the form of threads of energy or waves of color, or even through vibrations from various parts of your body. You are releasing all that you have been holding for this long, that you now acknowledge you are ready to let go of. For the more you unhook, the lighter you feel. The more you release, the lighter you feel. The more you let go, the lighter you feel. And on behalf of all of us in this space, I send an intent to the creator of all that is, to the universal life force, to all the healing resources of the universe, and to benevolent Mother Earth, that each and every one of us in this space are choosing this moment across time, across space, across past, present, and future, to release and let go of all hooks, triggers, fears, doubts, insecurities, patterns, habits, associations, entanglements, attachments, implants, imprints, influences that are stopping us from being free of whoever or whatever it is that has created and filled us with any negative, toxic emotion, feeling, or energy. And in letting go, each of us are choosing to forgive whoever or whatever it is that has hurt or impacted us. And we are disentangling, detaching, and disassociating. And in doing so, we are allowing ourselves to create space within our space in the heart. Take a few moments and visualize from various parts of your body whatever you had allowed yourself to absorb consciously or unconsciously from that person or that space, that organization or situation. that impacted you negatively. You are choosing to let it go. And you are doing so that you can be free, you can be at ease. Just let it go. And just take a few very deep, slow breaths as you allow your body and the body of that part of you that was seeking forgiveness or choosing to forgive, just releasing in the form of colors, energy threads, vibrations that are being completely absorbed into the universe, into the cosmos, into Mother Earth, leaving you feeling lighter and at ease. And now look at that part of yourself. Does it need any more clarity from you? You, the adult of the here and now. Is there anything that part of you needs to say? Listen very carefully and make mental notes of what this part of you has to say to you. And then slowly and gradually visualize or imagine the other person or situation or organization, in whichever form it had come, as a catalyst or a trigger, slowly and gradually fading away. And it is just you and that part of yourself in the lap of Mother Nature. And now look at that you. Does he or she look a bit different? Is there anything more this part of you wants to know from you? And can you, the adult of the here and now, promise this part of yourself to always be there for it, to give it the love, the honor, the respect, the acceptance, the support it may be seeking from you? And then ask yourself, am I ready to integrate this part of me back in the center of my heart space? And slowly and gradually visualize that you and that part of you are giving each other a very loving, very welcoming hug. And as you hug each other, visualize this part of yourself gently stepping in to the center of your heart space. And as you can visualize this part of you being anchored in the center of your heart space, take a nice, long, deep breath. And as you breathe into your body, allow yourself to feel the energy of this healed part of yourself that you have integrated. There is something that had been missing for a while that you have just claimed back for yourself. And the significant intuitive understanding of what you have gifted yourself back right now, right here. Make a mental note of it. It was something that was yours that you have just claimed back for yourself. And now, very gently, give yourself a hug. Take a nice deep breath. And at the count of 3, open your eyes. So start coming up with 1, completely grounded back into your physical space, in the room that you're in, into your body, totally in integration. At 2, and at 3, eyes open, wide awake. And I'd request you to please have a bit of water, because what water will do is it will totally ground you back into your body. You are, after all, made with most of it of you is water anyway.
Well, thank you, Indrani, for that. It was great.
Thank you.
Relaxed. I visualized a lot of things. So I would love it if everyone can maybe share with us what they visualized, if they even saw colors, which would be interesting because we know there's emotions.
Yes.
Whether you would like to share it by video or you'd like to share it on the chat, whatever makes you comfortable. So go ahead. Also, if you have any questions,
anything that they would want to share, anyone had any physical body sensation? Very important question, actually.
Okay, actually I noticed, first of all, this is the first time I meditate. Okay, and it's so weird, the fact that I can feel the now, like sometimes you're just like haunted by your thoughts, like negative thoughts, and then when you meditate, suddenly I felt like a very weird feeling, which is good actually. And then the good thought somehow came in when you were talking about, like, as if we are in a forest. All right, I know, I just like visioned the fact that I am walking all alone in this forest, and like feeling the um, cold, clear air. And then as if I am meeting with the other half of me in that space.
Beautiful.
Then as if I was talking to myself and trying to, as if I'm trying to tell myself that I need to just let go so that I can move on in a happier way, and to start to have this like inner peace. Because like when you're hunted by something, there will be this dark spot that you just can't live with it. So yeah, this is what I feel. I actually teared while I was like, I don't know if that was clear, but yeah, it was good actually. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Malak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else has anything to share, anything that they felt or experienced during the session?
Hi, I would like to go on. I'd like to say that it was super calming for me. Very, very calming. I could see like almost every visual that you described was almost in a palette of blue for me. So I felt like a sense of calm and centering. I mean, I was getting a little distracted going in and out of it. But when I was in it, it was super calming.
Thank you, Sakshi.
That
Thank you so
felt
much.
lovely. That felt lovely.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
And I like the word that you just used, centering.
Yeah, I did feel that. I mean, I was, despite me being very aware of going in and out of it, I still was feeling that sense of centering and stability. So that was great.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else has anything that they would like to observe or share or ask?
Yeah, I actually have a question, but I'm not sure if I'm going off topic. But it's related to, like, the psychological health in general. So I was actually facing this anxiety disorder in the past 3 years, all right? And surprisingly, I love psychology, and I was reading a lot about it, and I was trying my best to like help myself without any therapist. And this actually made me so strong to observe more and observe myself. What is what are the things that is making me, that trigger my anger, that trigger my negative thoughts and stuff like that. But there's something that I noticed, even though I passed this phase, even though it was very challenging and very hard, as if there's this car that is still left after helping myself to go out of it. Like, it's not as easy as before to be so concentrated in my work, in my studies. I don't have that energy like before, as if my energy was so drained in just helping myself to just like be a normal being again. Okay. Yeah, this is something that I'm really facing this issue right now, even though I'm just trying to focus on the now and like try to concentrate, but as if this energy is not trying to come back. It's just so drained, like 0%. I'm just trying to be very precise, but yes, 0%. I don't know if there is like a way, even though I try to push myself to do activities, have fun, laugh, because I know laughing make the immune system, and even laughing make you feel happy, be around the people that you're comfortable with, do something crazy, something different, because this is, I think, how the negative energy can just go when you do something very adventurous. So yeah, I don't know if you have like an advice to that thing.
So, Sakshi, thank you so much. I just saw your chat.
Thank you, Indrani. Thank you, Fatima. It was lovely. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Good night. Bye.
Malak, to answer very clearly, if something, you obviously have a good coping mechanism in place if you've been struggling with something for this long. But what happens with coping mechanism is it drains you, because you're constantly having to make additional effort, extra effort to, as you said, do your daily activities, take part in different things that you do, and so on. So if there is something that is sitting within you, and it's commendable that you've struggled with it for 3 years and still been able to do whatever you've done, but sometimes you might just need someone else to help you out with it, and there's really no right or wrong to it. Because even as a therapist, I always say this, that when I do what I do, I can do only that much for myself, but sometimes I need to go to a professional. It's a lot like if I need a manicure pedicure, of course I can do part of it myself, but if I want a proper job done, I will have to go to someone who's trained to do it.
Yes, and
So,
Malak, there's something also I want to note, as Indrani said, that like each one of us has our own specialty, but sometimes the next level we want to go, or maybe there's an aspect of the healing process that we're not so qualified in, we go to someone else. So the healing stage is honestly step by step, and it also depends which phase you're in, whether you're able to address this matter right now. Sometimes you're not ready to face something. Sometimes you just need to give it time when you're ready to face the situation. So, I mean, part of like the self-development program I do is not only do I guide the person in understanding what their color personality is, what are the colors to use specifically to target. Like you were saying, I'm having problem focusing. So we would assign to you a certain color for a period of time where you take the vibration from this color to ground you, to give you that focus. But then after that, say you have that focus and you're working and you're creative, but then you could burn yourself out. So this is where you come into Indrani's practices, where it teaches you to meditate, to take in, to compartmentalize. So it's a journey that you go through, but always never force yourself to try to do everything at the same time.
Very
Take
true.
step by step. And I'm talking from personal experience. My journey, honestly, has been most probably over 10 years because I had to go through the phase of dealing with grief, of loss. After that, I had to go in the phase of dealing with, okay, where is my life? What is my purpose? What do I do? Then I found my purpose, but then everything, alhamdulillah, was so fast and everything was happening all at some times. And I was achieving the goals I wanted, but at the same time it was draining me and it was taking away from parts of my life. So this is where also I had to take a step back and reassess that, great, I'm getting what I want, but it shouldn't be at the cost of my health or the cost of me not spending time with my family. So it's a continuous journey, honestly. And it's good that you've started the path of awareness, actually, and learning more about this process.
That was so wonderful. Thank you. This was so good. Thank you so much, Fatma.
So anyone else wants to share or has any questions before we end our conversation?
I think we should wrap up.
Okay, if all is good, just message in the chat yes, and we can take it from there. Okay, all right.
Thank you. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you very much for attending today, and thank you, Indrani, for this wonderful session.
My
It was a
pleasure.
great meditative state. It helped
Thank
all
you.
of us and me.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to seeing you all in our next workshop and working with Indrani once again. So I
Thank you
wish
so much. Thank
you
you. Thank you so much, all of you. Have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.